Yeah,
Yeah. So you need people who are completely, within our spirit. That will get our contracted souls to, if we even mention the word starseed, only because it's a word that people will feel, they'll,
yeah,
they'll feel that they're the different ones. It's not
yeah.
just
They're
any
sort of
old
already
person.
sort
Yeah.
of in the club.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that means when you do that, it still opens up to somebody who really feels necessary, that it's like I see a lot of people and it's like just for women, this is just for women. But then you do see, they'll say, I do have men in there. I do have men because
yeah.
again, the men are just feeling, I really need, it's what I need, with that. But
It's, I find really interesting in this
I
whole
don't
spiritual thing
understand
as
that.
well is that it is very feminine led. And okay, we are
Yes.
now into a time of the divine feminine and the balance hasn't.
Yeah.
But then you take people like Greg Braden or Spinal,
Yeah.
all of them,
Yeah.
99% of their followers are women.
They are. Yes, they
And
are.
it's not like women have
Yeah.
time on their hands anymore. You know, women are
No.
working people like men used to be. So that equality's happened.
Yeah.
They don't have suddenly more time. They're not all housewives sitting listening to this. But why is it? And I think
And
I've
I'm
said to you before that
mm,
as a man, I've often felt excluded
yes.
and unwelcome. You go to a
Yes.
training course and you're the only man. Quite
Yes.
often, or there's two,
Yeah,
maybe,
definitely.
and
Oh,
20
I
women.
absolutely agree. Absolutely.
And you
Yeah.
feel sort of like,
Yeah.
well, not for me then, is it really?
Mm, mm.
Which is
And that
wrong.
will put you off, won't it?
It
And it
does
and
and
it's
has.
wrong.
Yeah.
And I must admit, at workshops I've done, I've left it open to what not everyone in the sense, but
Yeah.
used my words to, let's say, attract the right people. And yeah, I've had one man keeps
Yeah.
coming in it, but yeah, everybody else, the people interested in it are all women.
Yeah.
Um, Now then, is that because there's an imbalance that a man would feel not manly enough, in the unbalanced sense to do spiritual work, or as you said, Rob, is it more to do with a man will look at it and go, oh, I
I think
better
it's a
not do
mixture
this.
of things. I've been in that kind of environment where I've felt kind of invalidated.
Wow.
Like as a man in that, I didn't count really. This was women's work.
Ooh,
And
oh,
that's
that
more
gets
than
me.
once.
That gets
Yeah, no,
me.
absolutely. It's quite strange. Because if I look at it now quite dispassionately, I go, yeah, daft.
Yes, of
But
course.
when you're in
Yeah.
that
But at that
environment, you're in a
time,
conference room with 20 other people and you're the only bloke, and they're all sort of talking over you as if you aren't there
ooh,
because
that is
you're on
real.
a different wavelength to them. It's quite
Also,
odd.
they think, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so they think,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, that is
Yeah.
very interesting because it is even now when I think of courses I'm on or
Yeah.
workshops I go on. One in particular I can think of, and they don't particularly rule out men. I think they've got some men on the online course, but yeah, you go and
Yeah.
it is all women.
Yeah. I know no one ever
And
says no man. You know,
strictly, yeah, some people, yeah, there's a lot of, in the world I see around me, yeah, there are a lot of conferences that do put me off because it'll say, like Women's International Day or something like that,
yeah.
or, this
Yeah.
something for women. So some are, Rob, in my world, I see it, and it makes me feel a bit icky. I'm
Yeah.
discerning that I would love to talk to men because I want to know everything. I want to get that balance. We're not
Absolutely.
healing the feminine
I don't care whether you're
without
male,
healing.
female, or you haven't decided where in between you are.
Yeah,
Just be yourself. You know, I
exactly.
don't care. Really.
It's not
Yeah.
just about healing the feminine. Yes, there is
Yeah.
that I'm not saying, to put everything right in
Yeah.
confirmation that it's not about not healing the feminine, but we're healing the feminine. We have to heal, the duality of that
Yeah.
is we have to heal within women as well. We have to heal the masculine as well and
Yeah.
help men heal their masculine so they can help women heal their feminine and masculine.
Absolutely. And
Both, yeah,
I
both ways.
understand
The
why I
union.
would imagine a large percentage of women feel
Mm.
men are to blame for a lot because
Yes,
they've come from that. But not
yes,
all men are to blame for that. And so please don't lump me in that.
yeah,
You know, don't drop me in that equation because I don't fit.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
there's millions of me's out there.
yeah. It's a funny thing. I'm getting the idea that women will be with women because it feels safe.
Yeah,
Now, what does
totally.
that tell us about being safe?
Yeah,
I'm in my comfort zone.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, I
Don't
don't
disturb
trust
it.
men. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't trust men. Yeah, women. That is not being balanced in yourself as
yeah,
well. And as you absolutely 100% said, Rob, not all men. It's not every single man in the world is going to be in that category.
absolutely.
Yes, it happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen, let's call it narcissistic men, but I've also seen narcissistic women.
yeah.
And
Got
that
plenty
is
of them
in
out there.
us, and
Yeah,
that is us enabling as well. We've got to
yeah,
think about that, how we enable that to happen. So that's what we're needing to come out of. And so sometimes, yeah, the fact that I only choose women to come to a conference or something doesn't seem right to me at all.
no,
Yeah, so
yeah,
definitely we can change that, Rob. Anybody
yeah, absolutely.
on
Yeah,
our membership course, anything like that, we're not gonna just say
yeah.
it's
Where did
just
that
women to
even
be
come
safe.
from?
No,
Well, how did we even get to that conversation?
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
our mission, Rob. It's part of our mission, isn't it? As well, part of our role
balance.
that we allow the balance
Yeah,
that because we've got a man here and we've got a woman here
yeah,
that we can help people with the and I must admit I'm not all into I haven't researched and studied in great depth the feminine how to heal the feminine
yeah.
in that way
Well, it's
only
very
because
1960s. Yeah,
it doesn't fit, and just there's only priestesses and all
yeah,
of this, because it feels like a grid that it has a container that's a limited container because it's not showing well, where's the masculine bit of that?
yeah,
That's what I kept asking the guys, this doesn't feel right. And that's just for me personally it just feels like, yeah, it doesn't feel right just to say, let's only just invite women or,
yeah.
for anybody,
No,
or where
absolutely.
I would just only go because because there are only women there.
I
And
know.
again, this is
It's
all
yeah,
because what's happened is because women do want a say in the workplace, a say in business, etc. But I feel like that a lot of people we've got that far now. I've worked in places where, the NHS, all these kind of places where you would think, a lot of it is more male
yeah,
dominated, especially at the top. But you've worked, lots of things have happened over these last years to
yeah.
change that, and we've got
Oh,
women
very
CEOs.
much so
So,
in the workplace now. It's
so
much more equality. It's
in
not there
yeah,
yet,
no, but it really
but
is
the old
getting there.
tub thumping
Yeah.
argument, I think, is now not
Yeah.
valid.
Yeah, it doesn't seem valid. It feels like
Because if you,
we've gone
yeah,
past that. So what we need to do is
yeah,
move, we're now exploring,
yeah,
expanding, growing, moving beyond. We've got to get to the next stage of moving beyond
absolutely. And
that, and that's
your
what we can
spiritual
do.
self does not have gender.
Nope,
It's not a male or a
nope.
female. It just is energy.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
So, get over it.
Yeah. And another life, I've
Yeah.
been a man before. I'm sure in another
Absolutely,
life you've been a woman.
absolutely.
So
You've probably been
where are we?
beings that weren't either.
Yes, exactly. Oh, we
Where
definitely,
gender's not
definitely
relevant.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely are with that. Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh,
that's yeah, definitely how we see into
okay.
this is part of our mission is not to have that exclusion. And I'm sure nobody, again, not thinking about anybody else in particular, I'm sure that's not their intention at all. But it just feels, when you feel
Yeah.
into that grid,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever, it just feels
If
like
someone
it.
is doing this kind of work and they say, okay, this is for women,
Yeah,
I can buy that because they're doing something very specific for a group of people they can connect with. But
exactly.
if it's a
Yeah.
generalized person offering courses or whatever, like we want to do,
Yes.
why do women flock?
Yes.
And why do
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
men not
Yeah, that's
flock?
so
What
interesting,
stops
Rob.
them? Yeah.
Mm. I wonder if any men can tell us what what that
Yeah.
what that might be if they do feel
Is it just
intimidated
conditioning?
in
Can't be
yeah,
just
all the
conditioning. Yes.
conditioning because the men our roles are to activate people. So equally, we should be activating in theory, when we talk about things, we should be activating the men to if we call it awake, but basically to start understanding there's more, all we're doing is activating people to remember they are more than just the human self. They're more
Yeah,
than what's going on in the 3D, what's going on in what I would class as this simulation. And so that you can make fun of it and not make it so
yeah,
serious, because that's
exactly.
just to this moment in time, that's what the guides, I'm not going to apologize for that because that's what the guides are saying.
Yeah,
All about Rob, these DNA stories, these stories that are held in our DNA. So
yeah,
that could be something that's going on in the men and the women. There's still this big story of, them and us, another one that's a division, too much of a division. Instead of looking at the lovely the diversity of it, that there's going to be some differences in how men think and how women think. There's probably always going to be that. But it's never going to work if women just heal women and by themselves
yeah.
and then leave the men out to continue being imbalanced. So
And
it
more
needs to
imbalanced
come
because they
together.
feel excluded.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a terrible thing, to feel that somebody, I would hate that because
Yeah, yeah,
even as women, in whatever, school,
yeah,
I felt excluded.
yeah, yeah,
Some work experience of being at work, in the public sector. I don't think I've ever worked in private, apart from a school that was private, but you
okay,
can think of it being a public sector.
yeah, yeah,
Public sector was very much in an imbalance, and what's lovely about that is I can feel that experience of it. I can now heal myself from
yeah.
that lovely experience, or grow from that. Um, so definitely, I wonder what the guides are saying about this, because we we definitely are here to activate all of that balance and not feel any exclusion. Yeah, talking about going to a group and only being with a sort of select few, and
Yeah,
sort of, let's say, where we've talked about, women in a certain, sort of having a certain experience, whatever.
yeah,
That's absolutely great when you're working one to one or when you're working in a certain group, to heal that specific thing. So if it's help, healing something, anybody with IBS or whatever,
yeah,
something like that. But when it's about, I just think when we call it in the spiritual world, it really bugs me, this thing when people just say I want to meet like-minded people. There's
yeah,
something that
yeah,
just
yeah.
gets me in my heart, and this is me discerning in my heart. Why do you only want to have one? It's like having a one view, isn't it, Rob? Just
Yeah.
one view of, I'll only be comfortable and safe with somebody who agrees with everything I say. And if
Comfortable is the
somebody,
key.
yeah,
Yeah,
and if
yeah,
somebody says something I don't like, oh, they're not like-minded, I'm not going to be with them again. And this could be somebody who's not, again, the other side of not being spiritual. Um, who is right or wrong in that way, not being spiritual or being spiritual? And what does that, I mean, honestly, what does that even mean? So for me, my thing is about talking to everyone. Whether
yeah.
we're going to be friends with them or not, or even watching people on YouTube, sometimes you could say, "Oh, I don't really get a good vibe. I don't really like that what's happening." But actually, I need to sit through with it and find out more so that I can then do the judgment myself, go within and do a kind of judgment on what am I discerning, what am I actually finding out here. And I just think that helps you to heal some of this, like the masculine and feminine
Yes.
area,
Yeah.
even if it's, there was, I was watching two women, friends, but they felt very masculine and very in your face. And first of all, my judgment was, oh, I don't think I can face watching this. And then I'm
Yeah.
thinking, no, Julie, and my guides, no, no, Julie, sit and watch this because they actually have something to tell you after watching it. Yeah, some great, great, things to activate, make some great data codes I got.
Exactly.
That is all about what connection is looking at the diversity of everyone.
Indeed.
Yeah, I
I
don't know
think
what you
when we
think.
say like-minded people, I guess the implication is people who are interested in working on themselves spiritually.
Yes, that's a
But
good
then
one.
we break that down into little comfort groups.
Yeah,
Like we all
yes.
think the same.
Yes.
And we all go to the same guru who tells us the same thing
Yeah.
and keeps us in that corral, and it's comfortable and it's nice.
Nice.
But
Yes.
what really is important when you're doing any kind of spiritual work is to just be challenged.
That's the biggest thing. I think
Yeah,
that's in the energy at the moment. People are,
yeah.
I always do it, and people have said, I think I want to be challenged again. I think I
Mm,
know enough. So even Robert, even you
yeah,
and I, Rob, we're looking at things like, what else can we do? We keep seeing, in the energy, we keep saying, every week we come together, it's like, I think the guides are telling us this, and it feels
yeah,
the same thing that we're saying right from the beginning. And that's because that's not happening. But what we've done today is just feel like, why? Let's go in deeper. Let's
yeah.
work in deeper. Why is this not happening? So even our conversation now of being with like-minded people, I absolutely know we've done another video on this.
We have.
And yet,
Yeah,
here's the collective consciousness, here's the world that I'm viewing, still with this only wanting like-minded people. And somebody who's not spiritual, you can't speak to them because they don't understand what I mean, and they're not listening to me. And I think, oh no, maybe, oh, that's not that. Is that actually a truth for me? Is that right or
yeah,
wrong, good or bad?
yeah.
Higher
Absolutely.
consciousness, go to higher consciousness, and
Yeah,
there is no right, wrong, good
yeah.
or bad.
And often those comments come from not a true place necessarily for that
Yeah.
person. So they
Yes.
may be a
Yes.
disciple of Guru X, Y, or Z, and they'll
Yes.
come to you and say, "Oh, but so and so says," and it's kind of a closed debate. It's not like I don't want to hear your opinion and let's talk about it. It's like so and so has said, therefore it is.
Yes.
None of
Yes.
us have the definitive answer.
Yeah.
Neither you nor I nor any of the
Exactly.
multi-million pound gurus out there have a
Yeah.
definitive answer.
Yeah.
We're just helping you grow.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
what I
we
said,
don't have
yeah.
the end goal for you. We'd love to have the end goal for you,
Yeah.
but we don't have it because we're growing there too.
Mm, mm,
So yeah, challenge me,
mm.
argue
And I
with
think
me
it's
if you want,
different.
but argue with me with a desire to learn,
Mm,
not a desire to teach or patronize, but have an opinion, tell me your opinion, and listen to my opinion, and we'll either agree or not agree, and that's just fine.
mm.
But don't sit there in nowhere land.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
to see that you're doing some work. I want to see that you're thinking, you're trying.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's the
And if
key.
I'm
Yeah.
doing the same and you're doing the same, then you have my unfounded respect, whether or not I agree with you.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely doesn't matter. You'll have your own way. We'll all end
Yeah.
up in the same place eventually.
Yeah.
We hope anyway.
Yeah, we're
How much
talking.
time have we
Yeah,
got here? But
I was thinking about that, Rob. We're talking
yeah,
about what is when we talk about the new Earth
yeah,
and the description I originally had for the new Earth,
yeah,
and talking about see my description for myself was looking on the outside of me and thinking there's just joy and peace, and everybody connecting and working together. It at the time it still didn't feel like there was anybody that were all exactly the same, like robots. I don't see that. But then today the deeper description let's go with it, was more, the new earth is more is just about is what's going on within, isn't it? And the
yeah,
new earth is what is it you really want for yourself, and then that's what you will observe on the new earth. And at this point, it doesn't matter if anyone believes me or trusts in me or agrees with me. That makes
yeah,
no odds whatsoever. It's just I feel like saying that's what the new earth is to me, and there's more to it to that. We talked about no judgment, but there's a caveat in that. No attachments to anything. It's
yeah,
about the new earth for me is like because you're working from, let's say, a higher state of consciousness. To me, that's it. So from a higher state of consciousness, to me, a new earth is, well, what earth would I pick? Would I like to experience this or would I
yeah,
like to experience
yeah,
that? So at the moment, our current earth is me choosing to experience what I'd like, I'd like all this masculine, feminine disruption,
yeah,
masculine, feminine imbalance, because Julie, as a soul, has a mission. That's where we've got information coming through from other aspects of ourselves to help people heal the masculine feminine balance, just like you have, Rob, where we've
Yeah.
been talking about how we can help each other together. And hopefully, the, the guys are saying there is no hope, but the idea of
Yeah.
that is that people can see, there's a woman and a man, there's male and
Yeah.
female, and make their judgments. And
Yeah.
that's not right, wrong, good, or bad. When you go to higher states of consciousness, there definitely isn't right, wrong, good, or bad, anything like that. So when we're looking at the truth, that is why we talk about the going within, because when you look on the outside, you'll say they're doing. I mean, even Rob and I talk about the false matrix, and all
Yeah.
we don't mean it with any attachment involved. We mean it's away from the organic. It's just a way that people can understand it.
Yeah.
In actual fact, you could technically you can't even call it false, can you, Rob? Because it is just so. It's all
No,
meant to be.
it's an
All meant
alternative
to be.
matrix
Yeah, yeah.
more than a false matrix.
Yeah, an alternate
Yeah.
one that we've chosen to be here.
Yeah.
So ultimately, without me going off course, ultimately, it's still about how where people, the one thing that gets to me is the people not when we say not doing the work, the people still going to the gurus,
Yeah.
attaching themselves into their matrix, not right,
Yeah.
wrong, good or bad, but because they've got that contract to experience what's going on in that matrix. But the whole point of that is when you're attaching yourself into, say, Guru's matrix, is the learning here, the lesson here, don't you think, Rob, is pulling yourself out of it and then saying, is that true to me? Is it my
Yeah.
truth? And
Yeah.
that's what me and Rob want to help people with, on our membership. That's what we want to help you with is we will tell you things, but we do not want you to plug into our grid. We want you to go within a lot of it. I mean, this go within thing, I don't know what to call it, but literally go to higher states of consciousness. Once you do that, that just helps you to discern so much. And
Yeah.
that is our mission. We talked about our mission, didn't we, Rob? And
You did.
we said it's about the connection and activating people. And we talked about inviting star seeds because we feel that that's a trigger word for star seeds. But we just want not female star seeds. We want to explore everybody because
Yeah.
for me, oh, that connection with talking to all sorts of people who, whether they think they're spiritual or not, is just so rewarding. And so, this
Yeah.
challenge that we want, isn't it, Rob?
Absolutely. And the whole male female thing, we're in a gender fluid period that the world has never seen before because the
Mm,
world has shifted and gender is
yes.
becoming meaningless.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely will become a meaningless thing in
Yeah.
existence.
Yeah.
So, there are a lot of people who are well ahead of us who get pilloried
Yeah.
and knocked down for
Yeah.
being different.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a very hard world for a big segment of society at the moment, a very, very hard world. And
Yeah.
it can teach us so very much.
The cam.
We just
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
many people out there can teach, and so many people can listen. But back to doing the work. Spirituality doesn't happen by osmosis. You can't buy a book and just absorb it. You actually have to. You can buy a book that's got steps in it, and you can
Yes.
do the steps and learn something. You can get on a course, but if you don't actually do what the course is asking you to do, you won't get anywhere with it. You've
Exactly.
wasted your
Yes.
money and your
Exactly.
time, and the person who's running the course has wasted their time
Yeah. Yeah.
in giving it to the wrong people. So we do need the
Yeah.
right people to work with, I
We
think.
do.
So hence the
Definitely.
star
Yeah.
seed. I mean, I would
Yeah.
never turn anyone away that was curious and interested and wanted to work
Oh gosh, yes.
at
Yes.
all. But there is a point that you and I get to where you need to find people who are ready to work,
Yes, that's the key. Absolute
genuinely ready
key.
to work, and not just
Yeah.
sort of interested in maybe
Yeah.
doing the work or
Because
assuming that we'll just fix them.
yeah,
Yeah.
because those people are still, I feel, this is making a judgment. So yeah,
Yeah.
tell me off if we need to, anybody. But the judgment is, yeah, when somebody's just curious and oh, what can they do for me? There's still an element of expecting somebody else to do the work for you, and that's
Yes,
what
that's it.
myself and Rob cannot do is just wave a magic wand and allow you, and fix you.
Yeah.
We've said this time and time again
Yeah.
is that. our work will be in helping you. Our mission is to help others get their own truth. And that doesn't mean it's somebody else's truth. And that's what I'm really feeling into now. It's
Absolutely. Yeah.
in your highest state of consciousness, still building in this not being a human is working, when
Yeah.
you're working beyond human. That's what me and Rob are absolutely keen to do, which is why we talk about galactics, but it is much more than that, much more than just working with galactics. So it
Yeah.
is, allowing people to activate their connection with their highest self, with the soul, and then the connection knowing it's not something separated,
Mm.
that the only separation is the humanness. And that's fine because we came down and we chose to have this experience of separation, and that's how we have an experience, how consciousness learns and how consciousness grows. But we've still got to have that connection, meaning I can have a great conversation with Rob, but I can equally have a great conversation with a friend that just doesn't get what I do,
Mm.
but I can learn so much from them. So it doesn't have to be this only those that are, that are like me
Yeah,
only.
no, it's a two-way street, isn't it?
It'd be great. It's great to have
Yeah.
such a diverse people. I've worked with so many diverse people before who've just been curious, but I've also worked, Rob, I'm sure you have, with people who literally are not willing to do the work, and I've
Yeah.
had to stop. I've just had to stop.
I've sent
And
clients
we
away.
just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just have to terminate the
you cannot.
whatever
Yeah.
they've committed to
Terminate
because
contract
you're not getting anywhere.
energetically. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No one's helping anyone. So,
Yeah.
you need to find someone else who's more in tune.
And that would
Yeah.
mean as well, I was enabling them to continue being in, let's call it the victimhood mode. And that
Exactly.
is not our mission. Rob and I, it's not our mission to continue in a certain grid for you to plug into our grid for us to enable you to try and fix yourself and it not work. We're here for much more. We're here
Yeah.
for you to understand the wider scope of who you are as human and beyond,
Yeah.
with that,
Which
with
we
our
we
groups.
can and we will do and
Yeah,
do,
and
but you
fascinating.
have to put in the effort.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
really have to,
exactly.
because there's
Yeah,
only so much we can do if
yeah,
you don't meet us.
yes,
And it's
yeah,
really, I don't know, you must find it, I find it immensely frustrating when you're working with someone and they're just not doing it.
yes.
And
It
you
is,
know they can.
and it then
Yeah.
comes on us, doesn't it? In the
Yeah.
past, I've gone, what am I doing wrong? And it's
Why can't
nothing
I
to,
get through?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we know now it's not,
Yeah.
when we talk about people not listening to us, we know now it's just because they're in another resonance. So you
Yeah.
might as well be talking Chinese. I always, I always say that. Am I talking Chinese? Because you might as well be talking a different language or whatever. I might as well be
Yeah.
talking my light language, because they're not working through the soul. And it is just one of those
Absolutely.
things. But
Yeah.
other than that, it'd be fantastic, so fantastic to have this membership and work with people who are just so keen on doing things and working
Absolutely.
through so I've been on memberships and I work through the videos and I repeat the videos,
Yeah.
and
You
that's
need
what we
to.
should be doing.
Need
And
to.
then I get because in doing that, I then receive the data codes,
Yeah.
and I can then pass on and create space for me so I can pass on when I use my when I'm in my role, my mission of me being, let's call it a star seed, working on Earth, and then in my role to pass on and activate the DNA strands of the data codes that that other person needs. I'm trying to do it in a
Absolutely.
way that that people will understand.
Yeah, totally. And when they get it and they're able to then download and
Yeah,
process themselves,
yeah,
that's exciting.
yeah. So exciting for all
Then
of
they just
us.
fly. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we see somebody who's it's like, oh, I get it now. Being with higher consciousness, it literally is just I'm in blackness. I don't have a body.
Yeah.
And you mean to say it's that feeling, isn't it, Rob? When you meet, suddenly get none of this matters. Nothing matters. There isn't anything to matter about. Why as a human am I worried about all these little things when I can grow so much more? And that's the space that we want people to get to. It's
Yeah.
so
It's
exciting with
just
this.
the same as in your little everyday life. You might be scared of making a phone call. Might be a really
Yes.
difficult phone call.
Yes.
And you fret about it and you put it off and you put it off. If you just make the phone call, it's usually absolutely painless and fine.
Yes.
And then afterwards, you just feel like bouncing off the walls because you're so free. It's
Yes.
that piece of fear.
And that's when we wonder we spent so much energy, draining energy, thinking
Mm,
about the thing that took us 2 minutes and sorted.
exactly so. Done.
I have done that before, Robin, but
Oh, hello.
never
Yeah.
again. I'm saying never again, and it might do, but
Yeah.
yeah, this is it. Yeah. So yeah, there's nothing to, we said about putting the effort in, but ultimately there is no effort. When you start working on this, it's so fascinating. You
Yeah.
could even say it's an obsession because you just get into it so much when you start working with your higher self, with your soul, and then you get all the guides coming in. It's just so
Oh, bits of
fruitful.
synchronicity start to happen, or you start to
Yeah.
recognize them finally.
Yes, you start
It's
listening
it's so
to
rewarding.
listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
fantastic.
we are preparing our first course,
Hmm.
which I hope we'll have available soon.
Yeah.
And we'll see how we can work with people more directly and more equitably.
Yeah. Yeah. People come in, so let's just say paying for things. People come into us and in a space where you're not out there in the
Yeah,
world, you can say so much more, and it's so much more of an activation or as we said, an ignition. It's
yeah,
igniting
sure is.
that aspect of you, those aspects of you that that maybe weren't awake before, or all the things where you think on your own you can't do this. But that's the whole idea, is that we love to work in groups because it activates everybody. It is a
Yeah,
way of working. Somebody who's worked in groups, even if it's an art group or anything, you'll know what it feels like.
yeah,
To
yeah.
be able to, the dynamics are different. So
The
that is
energy
exactly
grows.
what
You're sharing
Rob and
energy.
I are doing now. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're offering. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So,
in this day and age, we know enough about energy to know we don't all have to be in a room sharing the energy.
mm,
Be anywhere on
yeah,
the planet sharing our energy. There's no limits
mm,
to sharing energy. And when you're
yeah,
working collectively, the energy just really grows and grows and grows, and you go faster, I find.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I'll
Mm.
never stop working one on one. I still enjoy that.
Yes,
But
yes, it's
there's
good.
there's a lot of satisfaction to be had in accelerating a group energy and
Yeah.
just watching them suddenly realize things.
Yeah, yeah, when everybody gets something different and can
Yeah,
share
yeah,
that.
just amazing.
Yeah. And they provide the data codes as well, where they're
Yeah,
saying, "Oh, I saw this," and somebody else will think, "Oh, I never thought of that. Oh, I'm gonna go away and look at that part of it." And that's
I
that's what we
yeah, I think
get
when I
into.
facilitate groups, I learn as
Mm.
much as anybody in that group,
Yeah,
and possibly
yeah,
more sometimes.
yes. And it helps us grow to then
Yeah,
provide the
it
next
does.
stage, the next level, the next level.
Yeah,
Yeah, with, probably I would say years of work to come, because when you're growing, and it becomes so exponential that you get so much information coming through, that to share with others when you make the
yeah,
space, because that's what I think's happening as well with people, is they're just not, they're almost just not coming on a course, or not coming in a membership, or not coming one to one, because they maybe just don't know if it can happen to them. There's a
yeah,
lot of,
sure.
I can't meditate, I can't, there's lots of spells that they're putting on
Yeah,
themselves. It is all a myth. I can't do this, I can't do that.
yes,
Is
you
your
can.
DNA
Yeah,
story.
yeah,
Is your DNA story. There
yeah,
is no, when you go to higher states of consciousness, it doesn't exist. That can't, that all those things about attaching yourself to somebody else, all of this,
yeah,
it just does not happen. Doesn't
for sure.
happen. All the not enoughs, worthy enough, am I worthy enough? No such thing. No such thing when you go to higher state consciousness.
No.
So,
No,
okay.
I think we should
On that note,
probably, having gone off on a complete tangent
I
this
know.
week, probably wrap that
I know, we will do.
and then work on
We
delivering
will.
what we're talking about.
Yes, we
Yeah,
will do the next stage of
yeah,
our work and actually do something.
yeah.
Okie doke. Bye for now.
Bye for now then.